what type of mind you dealing with. You dealing with a alienated, a reprobate mind. Romans 8:5. Go ahead.
For they that are after this flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
See, if your mind is on the flesh, if you fleshly, then that's what your mind is concentrating on. You don't care about nothing of God. Go ahead.
But they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
Now, if you spiritually minded, you ain't going to have no problem with what God is saying. God is a spirit. He telling you what he wants, and he telling you the majority going to reject it. So don't follow the crowd. Go ahead.
For to be carnally minded is death.
Oh, to be carnally minded. It's serious. To be carnally minded is death. So if to be carnally minded is death, I need to definitely figure out what a carnal mind is and make sure mine not carnal, right? Because to be carnally minded is death. Go ahead.
But to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Okay, that's where you want to be at. See, a reprobate mind is carnal. It's all about carnal. The difference is God then rejected it, and he going to make sure you stay that way till he can damn you. He said to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Verse 7, let's see how we recognize it.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against God.
It's enmity. It hates God. That's what enmity means. It hates God. Go ahead.
For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be.
You mean the carnal mind is not subject to the law of God, and neither indeed can be? See, it's the same as reprobate. Not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. And we got preachers going to be preaching on Sunday saying you don't need the law. The law done away with. What kind of mind do they have? Carnal, according to this, right? Don't want to be subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. Because once you go so far, God not going to let you. Just like I seen some preachers. See, God done showed these preachers a lot more than they letting on. And I seen some preachers start playing with the truth a little bit, trying to say a little bit of the truth. And I be thinking, man, maybe they going to get it together. Then they fall totally off the wagon. Because they didn't probably mess too many people up. God ain't going to let them save themselves, and they didn't destroy. They sending people to hell, lying to them all this time. So, but he said the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. Jeremiah, the 7th chapter. Back to the old days, same thing. You had carnal minds back here. Just contrary to God. And you continue, once God give you a chance, God will reject you. He'll turn you over to what you want. That's what you want. Like the old saying is, God saying the same thing. You like it, I love it. Here, you can have it. I'm going to make sure you keep it now. Like he did Israel. He did Israel that way when they came out of Egypt. They start being stiff-necked, murmuring, oh, we don't want this. You know, we going to die in the wilderness. They wasn't going to die, but since they said, okay, I'm going to make sure you die in the wilderness. You like it, I love it. Jeremiah 7 and verse 27. Jeremiah 7 and verse 27. Okay, go ahead.
Therefore, thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to thee. Thou shalt also call unto them, but they will not answer thee. But thou shalt say unto them, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Lord their God, nor receiveth correction.
Okay. Now this kind of go along with the lesson, but this ain't even what I wanted. He said, thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they would not hearken to thee. The same thing we've been reading, right? I don't know how this end up in the lesson because this ain't even what I wanted. But it go with it. Thou shalt call unto them, but they would not answer thee. Verse 28, but thou shalt say unto them, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Lord their God. Same old thing. And what else?
Nor receiveth correction.
Nor receiveth correction. Go ahead.
Truth is perished and is cut off from their mouth. See,
that's how Israel got in big trouble with the Lord. But now let's back up to really what I really wanted, and it got to be the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter and the same verse 27. That was an accident, and it still worked out. Go ahead.
I have set thee for a tower and a fortress among my people, that thou mayest know and try their way. They are all grievous, revolters, walking with slander. They are brass and iron. They are all corrupters.
See, Israel been messed up for a long time. The people that knew how to serve God and refused to do it. That's why we're suffering big time now. They are all grievous revolters, walking with slanders. They are brass and iron. They are all corrupters. See, that's the way most of the preachers are. They are corrupters. They corrupting other people. Go ahead. 29.
The bellows are burned. The lead is consumed of the fire. The founder melteth in vain. The wicked are not plucked away.
See, he liken this to when you put silver and gold in a furnace to get all the dirt off of it, to purify it and make sure it's good silver and gold, because if it ain't good silver and gold, it's going to burn up in the fire. But when it come out on the other side, it should be clean and crispy if it's pure gold or pure silver. All the dross and all the stuff been burned off of it, and it's pure. That's what the Lord say his servants are like. He'll try you in the fire. You're going to come out on the other side pure. But now in this case, he said the billows are burned and the lead is consumed of the fire. The founder melted in vain, though, for the wicked are not plucked away. See, all the garbage still on it. They haven't been changed when they heard the word. What did he call them then? Verse 30.
Reprobate silver, show men called them.
Oh, reprobate silver. That means it's no good. It's not good. It's to be rejected. Reprobate silver is some silver that really ain't silver. It didn't work. You put it in the fire, you say, oh, this was some garbage. Somebody got me. It's just like when they got you in the old days. They sold you a box, told you it was a VCR in there, and it wasn't nothing but some bricks when you got home. Where they got you. That was a reprobate VCR. Reprobate silver shall men call them. Why?
Because the Lord hath rejected them.
See, the Lord rejected them. See, that's what will happen. You reject the Lord will reject you. Go to Zephaniah 1. See, there's more than one way to end up with a reprobate mind. You can outright reject the truth, never come to the Lord. Just, you never came to the Lord. You didn't know the truth, but you rejected it. Hey, God gonna turn you over. He gonna reject you. Or now on the other hand, you can come to the Lord and then you can go back the other way. The Lord gonna reject you too. You just as bad or worse. Zephaniah, just a couple of verses, the first chapter. Zephaniah 1 and 4. Zephaniah 1 and 4. Okay, go ahead.
I will also stretch out mine hand upon Judah.
See, the same people, God's own people went corrupt. Became reprobate. Go ahead.
And upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Babel from this place. And the name of the cherubims with the priests, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord, and that swear by my account, and them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord nor inquired for him.
Now notice what he said. He said he going to stretch out his hand upon the people, Israel, and against all this foolishness that they doing. And verse 5, he said, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and swear by the Lord and swear by, they still worshiping false gods and call themselves worshiping the Lord. Then he said, verse 6, and them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, nor inquire for him. So you got two sets here, don't you? You got some people that find out about the Lord and they turn back. I done seen that happen. See, you would know it when you see it happen too. You ain't even got to speculate or wonder about it. You will know it. It's a way to know it. When you got some understanding, you will know it when somebody went back on the Lord. He said, they that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, nor inquire for him. So you got two sets, don't you? Some that turn back, some ain't sought him in the first place. They ain't came yet. They don't even care to come. They rejecting him before they even come. You think they gonna escape? No, they in trouble. And you know the one that done turned back in trouble because he even claimed to believe at one time. But now, let's look at it. Go to Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55. And we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Isaiah 55 and verse 6. Then we're going to get a couple of examples of what we're dealing with. 55 and 6. Okay. Go ahead.
Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
See, he telling you better get it right while you got a chance, because you're not going to always have a chance. That's telling you the Lord will say time is up. Now, he can say time is up and just kill you, right? But he don't have to do that. He can say time is up while you still walking on top of the ground. You still walking on top of the ground. The Lord done already put you over in the collar. He done already penciled you in, damn him. He done already penciled you in for damnation. I'm telling you, people, that's why the Bible said fear God. When you get some understanding like we getting here, even out of these scriptures we reading, that should put some fear on your mind. Say, whoa, this dude ain't playing at all. He not playing at all. Notice he said it. See, this ain't nothing we making up. We reading it repeatedly out of the Holy Bible. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. That's telling you in itself, he won't always be found. We read in Proverbs 1, he said, you reject me, you reject the truth that I gave you, you keep rejecting it, I am going to reject you. I'm going to laugh when your calamity comes. He said, then you're going to seek me and you're not going to find me. Didn't we read that? Proverbs 1. Matter of fact, he said, you know, when people get jammed up, they get jammed up, they start waking up early in the morning praying to God. Mm-hmm. Get up early. But it can be too late. That's what he said. He said, they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. That's what he's telling you. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. And you don't just call yourself calling. You got to do something if you truly seeking. What do he want you to do? Verse 7.
Let the wicked forsake his way.
Oh, that's what you ultimately got to do. See, people don't want to do that. People want to keep being wicked and think they saved by grace. They want to keep doing what they want. I say all the time, they be lying in the average church. They be in the average church saying a bunch of prayers, praising the Lord and talking about, Lord, change me, make me, shape me, mold me, Lord. And they go out and keep eating pork, keep breaking the Sabbath day, and you tell them that, they don't want to change at all. They haven't changed at all. Keep stealing, keep fornicating, haven't changed at all. Keep committing idolatry, haven't changed at all. He said, let the wicked forsake his way, and even what?
And the unrighteous man his thoughts.
And
let him return unto the Lord.
Let him return unto the Lord. You got a chance. And now if you do this, what?
And he would have mercy upon him. And to our God, for he would abundantly pardon.
See, God is merciful, but you got to take advantage of the opportunity, don't you? Or other than that, he telling you, you hearing it, so it can be a witness against you, and I can pencil you in for destruction. I can mess you up. Let's look at it. Matthew 26. We're going to look at an example. We're going to look at an example. See, this guy right here we're getting ready to look at, I don't think he ever sought the Lord, ever got together. He right there with the Lord. But some people be around the truth and don't really believe it. And you'll recognize it to a degree. See, some people might think just because ain't nobody really said much to them, you know, you might have to say a little stuff here. Anytime you have to keep telling somebody that they in error, constantly tell them they in error, that's going to end up a problem eventually. See, and that's the way this guy was. He was with the Lord. He was hanging out, but he wasn't evidently ever on board because he had his own agenda. Matthew 26 and 21. Go ahead.
And as they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
Now they eating the Passover, the last Passover. That's what it was. It wasn't something called the Lord's Supper. It was actually the Passover. This is the last one for Jesus. They was eating it. He said, one of you shall betray me. And show you Jesus hadn't even blew the whistle on the one that was going to betray him. So none of them didn't know. He said, one of you going to betray me, though. Go ahead.
And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I?
See, they at least knew. They at least recognized it. Look, I hope I ain't that crazy. They all said, Lord, is it I? Is it I, Lord? Lord, is it I? Sometimes we want to point the finger at somebody else. No, you should just make sure it ain't you. Can I be one in line for a reprobate mind? That's what we should do. He said, Lord, is it I? Go ahead.
And he answered and said, he that dipped his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me.
Now he told him, he said, I'm going to tell you who it is. The one, he real close to me. He dipping his hand in the same dish. Obviously they had different dishes, but he dipping in the dish with me. He eating out the same bowl with me. Go ahead.
The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
Woo, that's some strong stuff. I would like to think if I was that stupid that when I heard that, I still would have been like, he's serious. I thought he was playing. He said, I ain't doing it. I changed my mind. I would like to think I would have enough sense to do that because this is scary right here. But some people think they playing with man and they done forgot about God. They think they're just dealing with man and they done forgot about God. And that's the way it was. Like I said, it's likely this guy never was believing because all along he was hanging with Jesus, but he had his own agenda. He was stealing from the money bag all along. So Jesus said, the Son of Man goeth as it is written. Now, yeah, I got to die. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. That would have been a better outcome for him. He's in big trouble. Now notice what the man said. This shows you how your mind could be screwed up. Notice what the man said, 25.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said.
See, he got enough gumption and he going to be like everybody else. He know good and well it's him. You know it's you. Master, is it I? Jesus didn't even jump on there. He said, hey, you said it, dude. You said it. Go to the 27th chapter. But that shows you his mind not in the right place, is it? He think it's a game. He think he playing with man. He'd have did good just to been quiet. 27 and 1. Go ahead.
When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death.
See, again, I told you, Jesus got killed by wicked people, the religious leaders. So they arrested him the night before after they ate the Passover, but they arrested him because Judas came with the crowd and kissed him and turned him in. He betrayed him. So they arrested him, and the next morning they taking count because they want to kill him because he been a thorn in their side for too long. Verse 2.
And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders.
Oh, now wait a minute now. See, this used to puzzle me years ago, but I understand it perfectly now. It looked like Judas changed his mind, right? It looked like he repented himself, and he even took the money back. It looked like, look, you know, he making up. He's sorry for what he did, and he took the money back. That don't mean nothing to the Lord. You didn't cross the line. That don't change what Jesus said. It'd have been good if you had not been born. You think that's going to change that? See, that's why the outcome was what it was. But it looked like it even said he repent. Well, the Lord tell you to repent of what you done wrong, right? Mm-hmm. He said repent. Looked like Jesus repented. But you know what Jesus repented? Jesus didn't repent out of a sincere heart. Judas didn't repent out of a sincere heart and want to carry on the right way. He repented. He was just had what Paul called in Corinthians worldly sorrow. He didn't have godly sorrow. He had worldly sorrow because it didn't go like he planned. It didn't work out like he thought. He never really he didn't take it this far. Sometimes when you're doing some stuff, you don't take it far enough. He didn't take it like what's the end result? What you gonna do when it's over with? Or what you gonna do if this happened? He didn't take it that far. He think he just playing a little game. He gonna make a few dollars. He knew Jesus was innocent and hadn't done nothing wrong. He probably thought in his mind, ain't no way they gonna condemn him. I'm gonna make me some 30 pieces of silver and I'm gonna be still hanging out with him. Yeah, they might arrest him, but what they gonna get him on? He ain't did nothing. So they gonna have to cut him loose. No, you been tricked. You been set up for destruction. Jesus is serious about this. Jesus gonna let them kill. He ain't even gonna put up no defense. He going to the electric chair. And you gonna have to pay for what you done did. See, that's what he realized. Read that again at verse 3. Go ahead.
Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned.
See, that's what got him. He was like, I can't believe it. They didn't condemn the man. He didn't count on that. See, it didn't work like he thought. He didn't have godly sorrow. He had world sorrow. It didn't work. Sometimes we could be sorry just because we got caught. We ain't sorry because that is wrong and that we shouldn't have did it. Because this was something he just shouldn't have did anyway. He had to already have a messed up mind. Then going to sit there and ask the Lord, Lord, is it I? He think it's a game. He said when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders. And what did he say, verse 4?
Saying, I have sinned and that I have betrayed the innocent blood.
Now he admitting that he's sinned, right? Mm-hmm. You think that mattered to the Lord? Because he didn't cross the line. You know what column he in? Damn. He over in the damn column already. He said, I have sinned. Now he said he sinned. He admitting he sinned. I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. Go ahead.
And they said unto him, and they said, what is that to us? See thou to that.
See, these religious people, they didn't care. They wanted Jesus dead. They said, man, that's your problem. We got what we wanted. We want to kill this dude. That is your problem. But this show you that Judas had been around Jesus too long to go this route. And when he went this route, he sealed his fate. It was over with. So, it looked like he said all the right things, right? I didn't sin. He repented. He even brought the money back. You think that was going to matter? They said, look, that's your problem. See thou, you see to that. And what'd he do? He still left the money, verse 5.
And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself.
See, that lets you know his mind was messed up. He left the money. He was distraught. Left the money and went and hung himself. That show you. The Lord penciled him in. He said, you ain't going to recover. If he'd have kept living, he could have got it together. Lord ain't going to let him get it together. He went back door for real. He cast down the piece of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged. That show you, boy, the Lord is dangerous. He is to be feared. That's why the title is A Reprobate Mind, Rejecting Truth and Totally Contrary to it. See, that's the way Judas was. He was contrary to it. He was never in line with what Jesus was about. That's why he tried to come against some stuff Jesus was getting annoyed. Why are you doing that? You were spending that money. Just always got something to say. But now, go to 1 Samuel 16. We're going to look at this guy. Now, this guy, He probably was a little farther along than Judas as far as with the truth, because he seemed like he was sincere once upon a time. Judas didn't never seem like he was sincere. He was just sitting in the seat. But this guy seemed like he was sincere, but he lost it. 1 Samuel 16:1. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and go, and I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, and I have provided me a king among his sons.
See, Samuel, he didn't give up hope for a long time. The Lord had to tell Samuel to give up hope, and that Saul had crossed the line. Saul had made one too many errors. So Samuel still praying for him. He said, how long you going to mourn for Saul, saying I rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. See, now he fed up and he going to anoint David. Samuel kicked because he said, look, you keep reading, he said, if I go to anoint David, Saul going to kill me, because he knew Saul was crazy. He wasn't playing. He said, man, Saul will kill me. And the Lord said, yeah, you about right, but don't go tell your business then. But now, skip down to verse 14, because the Lord was done with Saul. Now, Saul had did some good stuff for the Lord. The Lord had the Spirit on him. He had been prophesying and everything. And he had did some good stuff for the Lord. But go ahead, 14.
But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul.
Notice it said the Spirit. People think you get the Spirit of the Lord, it can't leave you. Look, it left Saul, right? The Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. That means he had the Spirit of the Lord. He had it for sure. Judas might have had it, because I know they was casting out devils, but it looked like Judas was always on his own agenda. But here we see for sure the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. So the moral of the story is, you can be one that rejected truth from day one and never come and end up on the outside looking in with a reprobate mind, or you could be one that had the truth and turned back, like we read in Zephaniah. The Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and what?
And an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him.
You know that's from the Lord too. The Lord controls it all, don't he? That means he really didn't put something on Saul that Saul can't get away from. He didn't really put something on Saul. Now he is going to be jacked up for the duration. That's why the title is a reprobate mind. He going to make sure Saul cannot recover. Like one brother saying, can't get right. He can't get right now. Even though he might try, just like we saw the same example, Judas couldn't get right, could he? He went trying to get right. Esau couldn't get right. Esau cried like a baby. Oh, no, I know you got another blessing for me. He couldn't get right. So now here Saul is. The Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. Go ahead, verse 15. Notice, you will be able to see it. See, anybody can make a mistake, brothers and sisters, but when you cross the Lord, it's going to be evident. 15.
And Saul's servant said unto him, behold now, an evil spirit from God troubleth thee.
See, they knew it. They said, look, man, an evil spirit. They knew where it's from. They knew the whole thing. They knew it was from God. They said, evil spirit from God troubleth thee. We're going to see if we can help you out. They soothed it for a while, but hey, it was what it was at that point. 1 John, the 5th chapter, all the way to the New Testament now. See, if you're a servant of God, you'll be able to know. It's just like I said before. You know, ain't nobody perfect. But I've been dealing with the word for years, struggling to stay in it and doing the best I can do. Like he say in Matthew 25, he give a parable in Matthew 25 about 10 virgins. He said 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. He said they all started out going to meet the bridegroom, these 10 virgins. But the 5 that was wise, they made sure they kept oil in their lamp. That's why no matter what I done been through over the years, I said, look, I learned that years ago. I'm going to keep pushing on. I'm going to keep the Sabbath day, like the Lord said. Because he said, look, if you just keep the Sabbath day, I can straighten you out. Mm-hmm. So I've been pushing on, but I seen some brothers who I've been knowing for years, been gone doing Lord knows what. I don't know, don't even care. But I know they've been gone wherever, and then they come back saying, you know, they show up looking crazy. Say, what? You know, and they ask me, like, what, you know, what do I got? What can I do, brother? I'm like, I really don't have nothing to tell them. It's a scary thing. I really be at a loss for a look, man. That's what it said in Matthew 25 with the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And it said they all was on the way to meet the bridegroom, and they all slumbered and slept. But when the light came on, it was time to go meet the bridegroom. The 5 got up and said, okay, we read the 5 wise ones got up and turned their lamps on, said it's time to go. The 5 foolish got up and said, look, we ran out of oil. Give us some of your oil. And the 5 wise said, we barely got enough for ourselves. You better go try to do something somewhere else. We barely making it. And they had to scramble and they couldn't get right. By the time they got back, the Lord then shut the door and they left out. And that's how I felt when some brothers came to me and said, man, what do I got to do? I tried to tell them, I said, man, you better start keeping the Sabbath day. And they stick around a couple of weeks and be gone. But that's an example. But look at this in 1 John 5 and verse 16. 1 John 5 and verse 16. Okay, go ahead.
If any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death.
See, now notice, he said if you see your brother sin a sin not unto death, that means you should be able to know the difference if you've been around the word of God. He talking to somebody that didn't know the difference, or else he wouldn't be saying it. If any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, that means I can be able to determine if I see somebody and they done sinned unto death. That means they didn't cross the line. I'll be able to determine that. He said, if any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. Now he going to finish that 16.
There is a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it.
See, he said that, but on the other hand, there's a sin unto death. He said, I'm not going to tell you to pray for that. That means we can see that. So anybody can commit a sin. Anybody can make a mistake, and we are supposed to pray for one another. We supposed to try to help one another. But now you will be able to see, and I didn't, sad to say, didn't seen it, that somebody didn't sin unto death, and I won't pray for them. Ain't no need even praying for them. That's just like, again, somebody could have been trying to pray for Judas. Well, I'm going to pray for Judas anyway. Look, you wasting your breath. Just like when I was new in the word, I was feeling real emotional one time reading the Bible. And I thought to myself, I should even pray for Satan. And then I thought right after that, how stupid can you be? That's a wrap. That's definitely a waste. But it's even a waste. It can be a waste for some men. He said, there's a sin unto death. I do not say that he will pray for it. It's just like I done seen brothers been in the word for years, and all of a sudden they go totally contrary. I'm talking about been strong in the word, so it seemed. See, you'll be able to see it. Strong in the word, preaching the word. Then all of a sudden they preaching totally contrary. Not a little contrary. Totally contrary. Saying, been preaching forcefully, not eating pork for years. Then they come around and say, well, really, you can eat pork. You know, Jesus made it okay for us to eat pork. Wait a minute, you weren't preaching that 5 years ago. That means something that's drastically happened to him. He said, ain't no need even wasting a prayer for that. There's a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. Go ahead.
All unrighteousness is sin.
Uh-huh.
And there is a sin not unto death.
And it's a sin not unto death, but the one unto death, that's somebody you would be able to know the Lord gave a reprobate mind. Because they're going to be totally contrary to the truth. Totally contrary. Now, go to Proverbs 29. And you can kind of see it along the way. You can kind of see it along the way. Because some of the brothers that I know that then went back door, you try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it can be a glitch. Proverbs 29. See, this is going to be, even before it happened, stuff like this would be a telltale sign. Proverbs 29, 1 verse. 29 and 1. Go ahead.
He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy.
Now, that's saying a mouthful. He that being often reproved, hardening his neck, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. That's some serious consequences. But how you gonna know it? Because it'll always be somebody you always got to say something to. It's just like I done seen people get in disputes, and you got one person, I don't even have to really know what happened. I see the people in disputes. I know kind of already, yeah, he probably the one did something. Or it can be a woman. Or she probably is the one said something she shouldn't have said. Or did something she shouldn't have did. Why? Because they always been into something. Always been into something. And the other person ain't never had no problems with nobody. Now, they could be wrong. I'm going to listen and find out, but I already got a good idea. Because he telling you, he that being often reproved, hardening his neck, and the one that often reproved a lot of times, they be the first one want to point the finger. He that being often reproved, hardening his neck, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. That means it won't be no fixing it. Won't be no fixing it. See, somebody can make a mistake. That can be fixed, but somebody constantly, you know what often mean, don't you? That ain't 1, 2 times. That's all the time, constantly. It's always something. He says, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. Titus 3. See, that lets you know that person often reproved, their mind was jacked. They just was going along for the ride. Titus, all the way in the New Testament now, the 3rd chapter, 1 verse. Verse 16. Titus. Ain't no 16. Well, I got the wrong one again. Titus 1 and 16. My bad. Titus 1 and 16. Titus 1 and 16.
I was looking.
Okay, go ahead.
They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
See, this is how you going to know somebody reprobate, a reprobate mind. Now, we already concluded that it can be somebody that ain't never came to the Lord, just refuse and reject the Lord, reject the Lord, reject the Lord. The Lord will turn them over. But it can be somebody that then came and then went back from the Lord. But here he say they profess that they know God, but in works they deny him. Now you got a lot of this in church nowadays. People go to church, say they love the Lord and know the Lord, but they don't want to keep his law. They say the law done away with. So they profess that they know God, but in works they deny him. And notice he said being abominable and disobedient unto every good work reprobate. Just contrary to it. So this This is somebody that you will be able to see that have totally crossed the line. Whether they even been across the other way or not, they totally on the other side, totally contrary to the truth. Romans 1. Romans, the first chapter. Romans 1. Now we're going to pick up some specifics. Because Titus, that verse we just read, it didn't give us no specific. It said, unto every good work reprobate. So they just contrary to good works. So we're going to pick up some of the stuff that a reprobate mind will be caught up in. Romans 1:18. Go ahead.
For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of God is manifested in them. For God hath showed it unto them.
See, now there's somebody that see it, but don't want to stick with it. Don't want to deal with it or stick with it. And the wrath of God is going to be revealed. You will be able to see it on them. Go ahead.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
Clearly seen. That means they clearly see. See, a lot of these preachers, they have seen more than they let known. They've seen it, but they ain't let known. And they are doing their own thing. Go ahead.
Being understood by the things that are made, even his internal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
See, they done seen a lot, but they won't let on. And every now and then they let some stuff slip out, just like this big preacher in Texas. I don't know what got into him that day, but he jumped up there and started preaching the dietary law and had it right.
Yeah.
And he even told the congregation, why y'all being Andre today? Because he tell, yeah, because you usually lying to us, telling us a smooth lie. Now you're going to sit there and tell us the truth. Talking about something wrong with pork. He ain't never said nothing like that. But he even said in the sermon, you know, me and my wife, Patty, you know, we stopped eating pork 5 years. You know, you just not letting this out? We eat turkey bacon now. We've been, see? Look, if they wanted to do right, they should have jumped on them. Say, why you just not telling? You mean you stopped eating pork 5 years ago? See, this lets you know what he's saying here. They understand. See, that's why some people be thinking when they hear the truth and they've been going to a preacher, they've been listening to a preacher, they think they preacher just don't know. They be like, I'm going to go back and tell my pastor. He didn't never see this. And they go back and get the shock of their life. Pastor been seeing that. He ain't been a pastor that long being just not seeing nothing. He just chose not to deal with it. You just didn't know that. See, most people don't know. They, under preachers, they are deceived. They don't know that the preacher is the deceiver until they go back. Then some of them get mad, want to beat them up. No, you just need to just go do the right thing now. But he said, verse 19, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Again, they go there without excuse. He done made sure you don't have no excuse. He done took the cloak away, like Jesus said in John 15. He said, if I hadn't came and told them, they wouldn't have sin. But now I told them, they don't have no cloak for their sin. Same thing with what we doing, preaching the gospel, that it can be a witness against all nations. Go ahead.
Because that, when they knew God, they glorified him not as their God.
See, they had a chance, and they glorified him not as God. Neither what?
Neither were thankful. But became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was dark.
See, and their foolish heart was dark. See, they had a chance, because God is in the business of giving us a chance, right? He ain't going to let no preacher that's over people not have a chance to tell the people the right thing. The preachers just choose not to tell it. We didn't talk to preachers. We had a gimmick that we would do. We would go in churches. Some of us would keep the preacher busy while the other people, see, we weren't worried about the preacher. We knew he wasn't going to hear nothing. But the other people was talking to some of the people in the congregation. But we in there talking to the preacher, and the preacher confessing, oh, man, we know that. I know Christmas pagan. I know Easter pagan. But they don't want to hear that. Yeah, we know, but that ain't your job to give them what they want to hear. But they didn't let us know they know. But he said, verse 21, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. That means they had a chance. Now they then got turned over to a reprobate mind. Now they can't get right. Go ahead.
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
And what they do? How you going to recognize them?
And changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into the image made like to corruptible man. And to birds and to four-footed beasts and creeping things.
So they got all kind of idols that they worshiping. That's what the world is caught up on to this day, 24.
Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own heart.
And so now all the other works is going to bear out because you just refuse to listen to what God is saying. You rejected everything about God. Now God going to just turn you. That's why the world is turned over as a whole to a reprobate mind. That's why sodomy is becoming the law of the land. And not just this land. It's been the law in some other lands. After a while, it's going to be the law of the whole world, where something that's clearly a sin in the Bible is legal for mankind. And show you they crazy. You know how you know they crazy? It's been illegal all this time. It's been wrong to do. And now all of a sudden, you got to change and think it's okay? Didn't nothing change but you. But that's what he said. He said, verse 23, and changed the glory of God, the glory of the uncorruptible God, into the image made like to corruptible man, to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Now, because you did that, wherefore God also gave them up. God will give you up, brothers and sisters, to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts. To do what?
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves.
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. He going to tell you what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie. And worship and serve the creature more than the creator. Who is blessed forever. Amen.
See, that's the real problem. They rejecting everything God say. They changed the truth of God into a lie. And they want to do what they want to do at all costs. So because, verse 25, you change the truth of God into a lie, everything God's saying, his truth is being rejected. That's why the title is A Reprobate Mind, rejecting truth and totally contrary to it. What's the truth of God? The truth of God is that Jesus died on the Passover. But man turned that into a lie and said he died on Good Friday and rose Easter Sunday. The truth of God is that God said don't eat swine. Something simple. Man said just pray over it. The whole world as a whole don't want to follow that. The truth of God is that you got to keep his laws and his statutes, period. Where the world, even the Christian world that say they believe in Jesus, say the law done away with. You done changed the truth of God into a lie. So, verse 25, who changed the truth of God into a lie, worship and serve the creature. You just want to do what you want to do, more than the creator who is blessed forevermore. Amen. So because you do this is what I'm going to do to you, God saying. 26.
For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affection.
See, God gave them up. That's why the world is going the way it's going. God then gave them up. That's why they think it's okay now. See, that's the terrible thing about this sodomite. People think, well, you just, when you talk about sodomites, which is the homosexuals that say, two men get married and two women get married, they think you just, you homophobic. You talking about them. Look, all sin is sin. Adultery is sin. A man sleeping with another man's wife, etc., that is sin. That's just as bad. Idolatry is sin. Stealing is sin. So all of it's sin. But the difference between those sins and this sin, you trying to tell people that your sin is okay, it's not sin. See, you ain't going to never see an adulterer sleeping with another man's wife say, I got the right to do this. Let that man come home and catch him. He ain't going to stand there and try to. No, I had the right, bro. We love each other. He ain't going to be saying too much after that. Nobody else. You get caught stealing something out the store. It's my right to steal this. But that's the difference. That's why this needs to be pointed out. But God is telling you what he done, why you think it's okay. He said, for this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. And he going to tell you about it. What is that?
For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
See, he said the women changed the natural use into that which is against nature. So that means the women is with the women. That's against nature. And what about the men?
And likewise also the men.
And likewise, that means it's the same thing.
Leaving the natural use of the woman burned in their own lust one toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly.
How in the world you going to make this okay? What Bible you been reading? I don't care if it's the Queen James Version. You should be able to get this out of this. That don't make no sense. Somebody got a reprobate mind. Likewise also men leaving the natural use of the woman. Don't even think about the woman no more. That's like it was that way in Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot insulted these Sodomites by offering them his daughters. He insulted them. Read Genesis 19. They want to sleep with some angels they thought was men. Lot said, look, don't do this. I got some virgin daughters. They was insulted. He dare you offer us some women. Because they had left the natural way back then. See, this ain't nothing new. It just show you we at the end now. It's because it went haywire. Likewise, the men leaving the natural use of the woman burned in their lust one toward another. See, if you got a mind like that, you either gonna repent or you going to hell. You got to figure this out. This is what he's letting you know. And if you gonna make it okay, you can write it off. Burn in their lust one toward another. Men with men doing what?
That which is unseemly.
Working that which is unseemly. It ain't right and it shouldn't even seem right. Go ahead.
And receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
And they going to get the reward of it. Why though? 28.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
See, they didn't want to serve God the right way. They knew it. That's why nowadays, I did a funeral. There was a lot of Sodomites at that funeral. They was talking and talking, got up talking. I opened the Bible, they was scattering. I ain't even say nothing. Wasn't even going to say nothing about them. I just opened the Bible. They was scattered. Because they know what's in it, even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge. They know what the Bible say. They think the Bible homophobic. You can't even quote a scripture. Why you reading that? And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to what?
Reprobate mind.
A reprobate mind. But he gave it to you. You didn't want what God has. God gave you over to what you want. You like it, I love it, God said. See, we don't know how dangerous God is. But you reject it. It's all about you not accepting what God is saying. God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do what?
To do those things which are not convenient.
See, now you can't. You going to do those things that's not convenient. Verse 29.
Being filled with all unrighteousness.
Now you filled with all unrighteousness. Not a little unrighteousness. Go ahead.
Fornication.
Wickedness.
Covetousness.
Maliciousness.
Full of envy.
Envy. Murder.
Debate.
Deceit. All over the place. I mean, it's just jacked up out here, isn't it? Go ahead.
Malignity. Whispers.
Even he talking about whispers, but go ahead.
Backbiters. Haters of God.
See, all this you can be turned over to. See, it ain't just one thing. See, you going to know it. It's going to be across the board. You're going to be messed up. Going against everything. Backbiters, haters of God. What else?
Despiteful. Proud. Boasters. Inventors of evil things. Disobedient to parents.
See, and this is the way the world is as a whole. Go ahead.
Without understanding. Covenant breaker.
Covenant, even he mentioned covenant breaker. We're going to deal with that in tomorrow, how God always have, he created the new covenant to make sure his covenant lasts. So he did away with the old covenant, but he came up with a new one to suffice. But when you got a reprobate mind, you don't even care about that. You're a covenant breaker. What else?
Without natural affection.
Not even natural affection. What else?
Implacable. Unmerciful. Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death.
Now, he said they know it. They done seen already, knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. Go ahead.
Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
See, that's real simple. Now go to 2 Thessalonians 2, and we're going to wrap it up. 2 Thessalonians 2. It just show you how dangerous God is. He's not, as the saying goes, he's not to be trifled with. 2 and 4. 2 Thessalonians 2, and we're going to read verse 4 and skip to verse 8. 2 and 4. Go ahead.
Who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called God.
See, this is what this man of sin going to do, the abomination of desolation. He is doing it now, but he going to show his hand when he moved to the temple. Who opposed, exalted himself above all that is called God. What he going to do?
Or that is worship. So that he is as God, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So he going to show himself to be God by moving into the temple in Jerusalem that they going to build. They going to build it real soon, too. They gonna build it, and he gonna move there. You know the old saying: if they build it, they will come. Where he gonna go when they build it? He gonna sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he. See, this got to happen before the end come, brother and sister. That's what Paul was telling you. See, the end can't come tomorrow, next week, or next year, because this got to happen. That's why you shouldn't listen. People listen to Jim Jones and all these crazy people. David Koresh made them think the end was imminent. Look, the end is close, but it can't be too soon because this stuff got to happen. And it's going to happen. Then Jesus going to come back once this done ran its course for 3.5 years. After he moved to the temple, then the Lord going to deal with them. But notice the people who don't listen to what we preaching now. It's going to be a witness against them. Verse 8.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
That's when he moved to the temple. That's when he going to be revealed back to the world, but we's looking at him already. Go ahead.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
See, Jesus going to come and deal with that man in his temple and deal with the rest of the world. Notice he going to destroy him with the brightness of his coming. When Jesus make his second coming. This is the second coming of Jesus. He going to deal with this man. What is this man about? 9.
Even him, whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
That's what this man got. He's showing power. He got signs and lying wonders. He's going to be able to do some witchcraft that's going to really fool people because you want a miracle. God said, you like it, I love it. He going to even give you a miracle. See, God, again, he going to tell you the truth and said, take it or leave it. And if you don't take it, he's setting you up for the damn column. He got a column over there. Put him over there. Put them over on the damn side. They had enough chances. Go ahead.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish.
Now with all, he going to deceive, he got all kind of deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish. But why? Is God just going to let them perish? Or did God give them a chance? We know God is fair. He going to give them a chance, isn't he? He going to give them a chance, but what they doing with the chance?
Because they received not the love of the truth that they might be saved.
Oh. They had a chance. The title of the lesson is A Reprobate Mind, Rejecting Truth and Totally Contrary to it. They had a chance to accept the truth, but he said they received not the love of the truth that they might be saved. See, we got a lot of people around us won't we see the love of the truth now. They think you crazy, but they going to find out that the world is the one crazy, and they trying to follow the world. Yeah, we out of norm with the world because the world is crazy. They receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. Now, you don't receive the love of the truth that you could be saved. It's only one alternative. What is that?
And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
You mean God would get fed up with you and mess your mind up? See, that's a reprobate mind. A strong delusion. So when the man come do the witchcraft, you going to go for that and receive the lie because you already heard the truth from some brother and you thought they was crazy. So God said, okay, that's what you want. You like it. I love it. He going to let you have it. God will send, you mean God will send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie? God? Mm-hmm. That's what it said, right? Mm-hmm. God will put it on you. Why is God putting it on you? I told you got that column over there. He intends to put you in. He already put you in the column. Now he just got to make it happen. He didn't put you over in the column. Okay, now send him that strong delusion. Go ahead. Why?
That they all might be damned.
Oh, wait a minute. That they all might be damned. Didn't Jesus say in the beginning, if he that believeth not shall be damned? You had a chance though, didn't you? Mm-hmm. That's why I say this is serious business. That's why we out here preaching. No